So he just went into what should have been the top rope, and he just continued head over heels, going the speed he was going.
What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the former WWE Champion and CBS Sports Wrestler of the Year. We are recording this on May 4th on Star Wars Day, so maybe he'll trade in the Claymore for a lightsaber, but just this one time. Drew McIntyre, how are you, good sir?
Absolutely marvelous. I'm trying to figure out what time zone I'm in. In the past few days, I believe I've been in Cardiff, Wales, Newcastle, England, London, England, Paris, France, Leipzig, Germany. Somehow made it back the next day to Raw in Greensboro. And here we are right now for interview number 3 in the past, how many months? 11?
Oh, 11, I think.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're besties at this point. Might as well start a podcast or something.
Your co-host.
Yes, I mean, I'd love to. How was the tour? Because, time zones and travel aside, it looked like you guys were having a really great time up there.
Yeah, it was great. Every international tour is always a great experience. It's the time where we all travel together on buses. Generally, we're all, separate traveling with, our like close friends on the roster, or sometimes by yourself. But as international tours, we got a couple of buses. Everyone gets together, gets a proper catch up, and has fun with those international fans that are always so rabid. For WWE products, they don't get it as often. Mm-hmm. I actually got to go a day early to Cardiff, Wales, spend the day there, do a lot of media, talk about our big stadium show, Clash at the Castle, which was a lot of fun. Got to go to the stadium at about 1 a.m. The place is incredible. It holds about 75,000, yet it's intimate at the same time. And the roof is very low to the ground, which means that noise is going to be kept inside. And if you've heard a UK crowd, how loud they can get, pretty freaking loud. Imagine 75,000 of them. That's going to be cool. And every night was just unreal. It kept getting better and better. Newcastle was wild. London was unreal. Paris, we've not been there for 3 years. They were beyond noisy, and 12,000 of them from the first match. So myself and Roman were out there, and just unbelievable. And then finishing off with Germany, myself and Lashley, and the top rope stayed together in the last match, which was nice. And then we headed back to the US just in time to smash Roman last night. Was it last night? 2 nights ago.
Yeah, well, time zones and all that. Now, I'm sure you've been asked this question a million times, so I wanted to rip the Band-Aid off and get it out of the way. Just what was going through your mind in that moment that you see the top rope snap and Lashley just fly off the ring and onto the concrete? Like, did you know what happened right away? Just in real time, break that down for me.
The rope was going through Lashley's head. But for me, it was very, very quick, yet very slow at the same time. When trouble happens, things seem to slow down for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm very aware of what's going on. Like, I knew when I hit the rope, something went wrong. I was able to catch myself very quickly. And was watching straight ahead and saw how Lashley went over. So the rope broke as I connected. He was a split second behind me. He had no rope. So he just went into what should have been the top rope, and he just continued head over heels, going the speed he was going when he hit the rope. And thankfully, I could see how he landed, and he went head over heels. Those giant traps hit the ring apron. His head didn't connect with the ring apron, thankfully, and he flipped himself right around onto the mat on the outside. So I could see he's probably going to be okay. Knowing him, it would be okay. It's a guy that just likes to roll around and fight during the day and take unnecessary falls during the day. And I always say, there's no camera watching right now. Why would you do this to yourself? But he enjoys the physicality. I could see he landed safely. And knowing him, I knew he'd be okay. And thankfully, he was okay. In those situations, you can only hope for the best. Case scenario, accidents do happen. You don't want them to happen, especially with your ring, but they do happen. And thankfully, he was okay. And it could have been extra bad if I also went out at the same time and both of us flipping out there. So I don't know if I would have quite taken it as well as old Lashley. I'd have probably got up swearing.
So break this down for me. Like, what, will Lashley just be in catering and start bumping on the floor, or what's going on?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did. No, he loves, his MMA. Obviously, he's a high-level fighter. In his spare time outside of WWE, he has a very good win-loss record, but he just enjoys getting in the ring, rolling around with guys. He'll take falls during the day. I remind him, hey man, you're a few years older than me, and I don't like the idea of adding these extra bumps to my bump card, but he doesn't mind. He'll just roll around during the day. He'll take those bumps, and in his spare time, he'll go to the gym. He'll roll around with guys. He just loves being physical, and is a highly physical individual. And if anybody's going to fall out the ring and get back up to tell about it. Like, it's probably good that it was Lashley. It didn't even phase him.
Yeah, he's a human Terminator, that guy. You know,
They were coming for
to
me
give
though. I did point out on the internet when he said that, he pointed out how he's a Terminator online. I reminded him that it wasn't intended for you. The ropes were trying to take me out. And I murdered their cousins in cold blood at WrestleMania. And then they were trying to wipe me out, and I saved myself. You were collateral damage.
Yeah, well, we'll need to bring back Raw Underground and just keep Drew McIntyre there. By
Yeah, I'm just
himself
going to
for
slice the ropes
everyone's
before
safety.
every match, like, just in case. This is for everyone's benefit.
You know, at times in the past, candidly, I've been a little critical of the attention the WWE has put on the tag team division. But let me say, for me, there is no better storyline in all of the industry than the tag team title feuds between RK Bro and the Usos. It's been so tight in the ring, the conviction on the microphone. Randy Orton looks like he's having the time of his life. You know, that storyline has evolved now. Roman Reigns taking matters into his own hands, as is Drew McIntyre. How does it feel for you to, you know, I think people suspected that Drew and Roman would come to blows once again, but to sort of have it wrapped in this really great thing that the tag team division is doing right now. How exciting is it for you to be a part of it?
Yeah, it was awesome to be back around. You know, Roman Reigns and the titles and the bloodline, the incredible things they've been doing for the past couple of years and literally running the industry when it comes to Roman, and McIntyre to step back into that picture, but also to be side by side with Randy and Riddle, who have been having the time of their life the past year. I've never seen Randy so happy in the ring and out the ring, even though we were literally in a blood feud a couple of years ago. They're trying to take each other out every single week. It's cool to be, you know, involved in that picture. And like you mentioned, the tag title scene has been so interesting with those two tag teams going at it. With the addition of myself and Roman, you get an interesting dynamic, and you get to delay that match. I know everybody wants everything right now. Like, oh, I want that right now. It's like, now you get an interesting wrinkle to the equation, and then you get to delay that match, which is going to build even more anticipation when it happens, maybe even in a stadium or somewhere else down the line, with more elements added to the story, and you finally get that match. If you finally get that match, I assume eventually it'll happen. It'll be an even bigger deal. But it's awesome to be, you know, in with all of those incredible athletes, with all the exciting stuff they're doing right now, and to hear the response from the crowd when McIntyre stepped out face to face with Roman for the first time, realistically, with live fans, and the incarnation of Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre as we currently are.
I'll pitch two tag team names for you. I mean, you don't have to pick either of them. But how are we feeling about R. Claymore, or my personal favorite, a little outdated, RK Broken Dreams?
Oh, all right. I like RK Broken Dreams a little more.
Yeah, that's too high.
All right, so let's go with that right now. Lashley and I were trying working a tag team name the other day. So we thought we were going to be in a tag team match, and that's what we're working on. We ended up fighting each other, but for a split second, we were almost in a tag match, and I was like, "Oh my god, we could be LOD." So like, but what can it be? Like Lashley, Drew, we need the O. We need to figure out the O, and then the tag match never happens. So if anybody's got the O for us, eventually Lashley and I have a team. And we're going to be LOD. We just need the O. So we've got Lashley and Drew in there.
Let's put out a poll online. Maybe we'll get some good feedback there. You know, you and I have talked over the past year about sort of stepping away from the title picture, the chance to do different things in different segments of the show. For you, with this most recent sort of time away from the world title picture, working with Happy Corbin and company, what have you brought with you? Taking that time to sort of get a break and play with some fun stuff, coming back to this Roman Reigns feud. What have you brought with you that maybe you didn't have the last time out against Reigns?
Well, I guess relaxing even more. And I was feeling pretty confident in who I was last time we fought each other, but maybe still a little tense at times, a little thinking too much about things before the matches instead of just being. My mind was still going. Instead of doing everything naturally, I do most things naturally, then overthink a couple of things. These days, I just do what feels right. I go with my gut, and it helps having a live crowd there to get that real-time feedback to know what the right way to go is. But right now, I feel as confident as I was then, 100 times more confident, and also taking that slow burn route rather than jumping in there with Roman as soon as I get drafted to SmackDown. I've allowed the crowd to kind of be reintroduced to Drew McIntyre and take time to kind of build that rapport with the crowd, which was there, but I've noticed and listened over the past 6 months or whatever, the reactions getting louder and louder, and being like, oh wow, this is cool. They're kind of sticking with me, because a lot of guys flip-flop between good and bad these days. The fans, have shorter attention spans. Maybe what the person's doing is not interesting enough for them, and they get over it pretty quick. And I've had moments with that where I was like, ooh, we need to take a step in this direction or this direction, but never thought once need to turn bad. And it's cool to see the fans have stuck with me the whole time. And if anything, they've just got louder and louder to the point where Reigns and I came face to face. It was at a SmackDown taping. We had 2 tapings. They'd seen me a few times prior. They'd seen Reigns a few times prior. And when I took out one Uso, the other Uso on the turn, which I didn't mean to do, when I locked eyes with them, I could feel the rumbling, could feel like this is a pretty cool moment right now, and holding off this long has been worth it.
Yeah, communication is always a tricky thing. You got to figure out best way to convey things to someone else. What is their intention? What are you actually getting from it? Is there ever a way in which you used to read the fan reactions wrong that you've since sort of learned and amended? Like when you're trying to get that ear in the moment, is there anything you ever used to maybe misrepresent for what it actually was when it comes to the crowd reactions?
With the live fans, I mean, it's pretty obvious what they're digging, what they're not digging. There's maybe times where I've thought something would work and it's not necessarily worked, and I wasn't confident enough to change it out there. Like these days, I'll certainly go with the flow. But during the pandemic time, there was stuff where I was like, there's no way this would play good live, but I'll try it. Like some of the Scottish stories and the likes, I was like, if this was a live crowd here, they'd be crapping all over this. But I've been set a challenge. I'm going to give it my best, give it the old college try. But if we had a live audience there, I would probably have fought a little harder against certain things that I felt like, this isn't necessarily going to work. But I feel pretty good these days. Like again, about the relaxing thing, letting moments breathe is a big thing. It takes people a long time to kind of understand that when you hear the less is more thing, it's not like an old time wrestler saying be boring or whatever. It's like, no, do what you want, have a crazy match if you want, but just let the moments breathe, let the crowd digest what they've just seen, and let them rumble, and like you tell them which way we're going to go, rather than, oh, they're quiet, we have to do more moves, we have to do more action. Like these days, I'm very much about just letting things breathe and telling them the story, as opposed to feeling nervous if they're quiet for a second because they're watching, and then dictating what you do.
As we take a little trip down memory lane, I always like to. Apparently, let's hope Wikipedia pulled through this time. Back in 2005, you had a match against a man named Jay Phoenix, and the officiator for that match was one Mick Foley, correct?
Yeah, that was correct.
Yes. Any memories of that, or did you ever get to sort of relive that moment with Mick down the line?
Yeah, he refereed another one of my matches, so he helped me in that match. This where I've been heel, I guess, for the first 4 years of my career, where I've been wrestling at that point, and the crowd had kind of started getting behind me everywhere I wrestled, but particularly in that venue in Scotland. There was a place called Kilmarnock in Ayrshire. I'm from Ayr, it's a very local area, and they've been wanting me to go good for a while. And finally, that was the moment to do it, where myself and my opponent switched roles, and Foley took out my manager, who was turned his back on me during the match. And at the end, won the match, celebrated with Foley, was officially a good guy and got the Foley rub. And then a few years later, fast forward to with WWE, fired from WWE, returned to ICW in Scotland, have a big show, 4,000 people, myself versus Grado. I'm the evil bad guy. Grado's the big Scottish good guy. And who comes out at the end to screw me over and make sure that I lose is Foley. So after helping me when I'm a lot younger, over 10 years later, he comes storming out and screws me out of the title, especially close to 12, 13 years later. So Foley and I have had some interesting back and forth, in Scotland. So I'm curious what the next step will be when I return back to Scotland. If I see Foley in sight, I know he's either coming to help me or screw me over. I just won't take a risk. I'll just take him out before he gets to the ring.
Yeah, I was gonna Mick Foley, quite the good guy in wrestling lore, but not treating Drew McIntyre all too fairly.
No. For the first time, he was right there for me, but yeah, not last time. He screwed me over. Screwed me at my ICW title.
One of my favorite sort of unheralded heroes of the ring back in the day was a man by the name of Doug Williams. I know he was sort of instrumental in your early career. What are some of your memories of working with Doug Williams?
I never got to do any matches with him before I get signed to WWE. I was just always watching him, like, my goodness, that's our guy. He's always like with a internet forum at the time. It might still exist, called the UK Fan Forum, where all the fans would put their opinions on there, and there was always a UK Fan Forum, top wrestlers of the UK. He was number one every year in a row. I'm sure it probably exists still. I should really look it up. It was always a fun read. But he was our guy. He was going to America. He was going to Japan. He was having these amazing matches with everybody. And I got to do a couple of seminars with him when I was younger. So being around him, I was always learning. But never got that match until the period I was gone from WWE. I finally got to wrestle him, and it was awesome. Been in there in the ring with him, and a chance to learn from him and the way he's blended the UK style with the American style when he has to is awesome. He's still a phenomenal performer. He retired for a minute. I knew he'd be back. He's back now. He looks better than ever, and hopefully he gets a chance on a big stage.
Yes, wrestling retirement's often short-lived.
Yes.
Okay, I know we're short on time here, so let's finish up on some quick rapid fire. Get to know Drew the man a little bit better. Good to go?
Yep.
All right, these don't have to be long. You can keep them short and sweet, or as long as you like. Whatever works for me. What would your tag team finishing move be with your recent acquaintance or friend, perhaps, Louis Capaldi?
Oh, let's see. The Claymore, I would have to take a fall. We'd probably be in the streets. So we just get our opponent to drink a bunch of Buckfast, which is a Scottish drink that's very, very, very strong. So I'd hold them, and he would force the Buckfast down their throat, and then they'd pass out, and we'd just pin them.
Not the answer I was expecting, but I love it. I don't know if you know what. I'm guessing you know what this is. I put out a Reddit Q&A. People were asking, what is your favorite thing to purchase at Greg's, the British bakery?
Steak bake. Yeah, I like we're back in the UK. There, we're driving from Cardiff to Newcastle, which is a 6-hour drive. We stopped at a service station, which is I don't know, equate it to here like a truck stop, but not as many options for food. And I got like some horrible sandwich in from inside, and I did not realize on the outside there was a Greg's right there. And I went, oh my goodness, I wish I went to Greg's. And it was such a big line, and we were such a hurry. I was thinking about was steak bakes. I never got my steak bake during the trip, so I'm looking for it. Cardiff, bring me steak bakes, everybody. An Iron Brew.
Look at that. Look at that. The internet knows better than I do most of the time. Will we make documented contact with sentient aliens in your lifetime?
Yeah, nobody will care. It's interesting that the Twitter and whatever is going on in the world seems to be more interesting than proof of alien crafts, at least in the past year during the pandemic when everything was going on. The Pentagon released a few videos with pilots saying we can't do that, and nobody cared. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Nobody cares. I'm just like, there's pilots, people that fly these planes are literally saying we can't do these maneuvers, and nobody's blinking an eye. They're too busy going, look at this reality show and this person on the internet here, or watch this cat video. And I've got 2 cats. I love cat videos, but I'm also saying, but aliens, or at least UFOs. They've got technology we don't know about, or maybe it's us, some crazy technology we don't know about, but nobody will care. They'll just shrug their shoulders and then say, what the Kardashians up to or something.
Well, you know what? I think the Keeping Up with the Kardashians has ended. So hopefully we got a little bit more
That's
focus
how up
here.
to date I am with reality TV. I can't stand it.
I work a little bit in entertainment, and most of the job I like. That is the one part I don't. Alas, Capitol Hill's doing some debriefings on
reality TV is so
planes,
real.
So.
Because anyone thinks about wrestling. I've been around reality TV.
And let me just say, I have people who are like, oh, I hate reality TV, but they are obsessed with what the Royals are doing. That's just more reality TV as far as I'm concerned. On the same page here. All right, last one. I'll let you go. This isn't a question. Someone reached out. They said the Melander family wishes you well. They always support you. I wanted to forward that message to you from the Melanders.
No, please don't. Thank you very much. Without everybody,
I will clip this for them.
Yeah, without everybody having my back, Melander family, thank you very much. Drew McIntyre is not Drew McIntyre. I would not have won the Rumble without everyone rallying behind me and telling WWE that's our guy. I would not have beat Brock, and I would not be in the position I'm in now without all my fans out there. So thank you, everybody.
I love it. Okay, Drew, I want to leave you with the last word, so I'll do my part very quickly. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you're here, you know what you got to do. Please hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, thumbs up. Let us know, what is your favorite Drew McIntyre match of all time? How do you want to see him beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Backlash? It's RK Bro. It's McIntyre versus the Bloodline. WrestleMania Backlash on Sunday, May 8th. I think I got the date right there, time zones, and all Drew McIntyre. Oh yeah, CBS Sports full feature with the man in the description of this video. If there's anything you want to let the people know, please let them know.
I just want to say thank you again to everybody for watching this, for supporting Drew McIntyre. I've got a million shows I could talk about, many things I could talk about, but I'll be talking to you soon for number 4. soon enough. So let's focus on Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash. Or, the 6-man tag's gonna be awesome. But look at the rest of the card. We Cody Rhodes back in the company. Him and Seth killed it in Mania. We got a rematch there. We got oh my goodness, that quick match with Charlotte and Ronda. I'm genuinely curious to see that one. They're highly competitive, highly physical. Don't like to give anyone an inch. So I'm very curious what that's going to look like. So yeah, I'll be watching this one as a fan as well as kicking Roman's butt. So make sure y'all check it out.